What's up, everybody?
Hey,
Happy
hey.
Thankful Friday.
Yeah, all right, all right, all right. I'm so excited to be here and just reflecting on the end of the week
I
and
know.
recognizing the amount of business owners that we come into contact with, how much wisdom they have. And I thought, what a great thing just to reflect on the wisdom that we've learned from them. Maybe the difficulties we've seen them face, the ways
Mm.
they've overcome it, the things they've learned, their moments of insight that we might be able to pass on to the listeners today, the things that we've been privy to as individuals who are in multiple businesses.
Ooh, let's talk about multiple businesses for a second. Let's
Yeah.
talk about multiple businesses for a second because one of the telltale signs I I I see in entrepreneurs starting their journey is that they're spread too thin and
They're
they
focused too
are
many directions.
way too many things, but it's not because they're not creative or amazing at all of those things. It's because they're using their fear to drive them to success, which is like basically running on fumes in your gasoline tank.
For me, it's an interesting double-sided coin because I can relate to that as somebody diagnosed with ADHD. I'm a perfect entrepreneur, and I always do best with a lot of things going on. And if I
Oh.
don't have, so that's already what I'm driving towards. But if I don't, there is the fear. So there's
Mm.
something really powerful that a lot of entrepreneurs bring in, that ability to be a dilettante, to look at many things.
Yeah.
But I've seen too many folks that work with one individual right now. It's great. So we're
Yeah.
talking about what we learned from other people. This individual is exactly that. We started working together maybe a month ago.
Hmm.
He had six different businesses, six
Wow.
different business ideas. Some were making money, some weren't. So the first thing we did, I said, we need to gain focus. You are
Right.
one human who can do one thing at a time, and you're trying to do everything, and nothing is going forward, is it? And he said, no, it's
Yeah.
not. I said, okay, let's prioritize. We're not saying you can't do everything, but you can only do one thing now.
Yeah.
And so we focused on three key businesses
Yeah.
and started building. Let's look at metrics. And he created, and even three is too many, right? Should be one. But I was lucky to pull them back to three. Like, okay, let's focus on the three. What are the metrics? First of all, he had them all combined together. Pull them
Ooh,
out and
okay.
look at each one individually. And let's see and I've seen manufacturers where they do stamping and they also build dies, and they don't
Yeah.
look at them separately. So they don't know that, hey, their die build is draining their bank account. Their stamping is filling
Yes.
it up. If you don't know, if you're trying to do too many things or clump it together, if you don't have clear enough focus, you don't even know how to make decisions.
Yeah. Ooh, you don't. You really don't. You don't know what levers to pull because it's this
Mhm.
man,
Mhm.
everything is working great. I'm getting the result, the outcome that I anticipated. How can you say that it's not working? It's not that we're saying it's not going to work. It's saying that one needs to be dialed in, systematized, right? That's where the money
Mhm.
is. And money is in systems. So like
Mhm.
systematized so that we can transition to the next one. And that requires focus. 100%. We agree on that.
Yeah. And I think when people are honest with themselves, it's not going to work. It's not working. I can tell you that my experience, they're frustrated, they're
Yeah.
irritated, they can't
Mhm.
figure out why they can't get things forward. So they just double down and work
Oh,
harder on everything.
no,
Like,
that's
okay,
not
well,
it.
and so I think part of it is they get so excited by the next shiny object, like I do, that we lose sight of the big vision. Where are we
Mhm.
trying to go? Right? Let's establish that and then make sure we're making decisions that are consistently moving us there. So you're not continually
Yeah.
adapting, continually changing direction and not building. It's like we're trying to find water. What's this? Think and Grow Rich. Yeah, right on. Napoleon Hill said it so well. I think of it
Yeah.
like if you're trying to find water by digging a hole, and you dig a hole 6 foot and you don't see it, so you go dig another 6 foot hole and another 6 foot hole, and you got these holes all over the ground. No, dig one hole 60 feet. Keep digging until you get to 600 feet. You will find water, but you
Yeah.
can't give up, or you can't spread yourself too thin, as you said, to start things out.
Yeah. because they're all great ideas, right? And some of them, like you said, some of them are not great ideas.
Well,
Some of
that's
them
it.
are a waste of time, right?
Yeah.
But we won't know that until we start to, pull the curtain down, not up, down completely. Like just, it is a little scary to be a client of mine because I will tear things apart so that I can see
Mhm.
how they've built it. And and it's also revealing, right? It's like the process of revealing what they've done and then, oh, I forgot that I did this and then that and then this. And it's their baby. Of course not. We don't want to take apart your child. But at
Yeah,
the same
yeah.
token, in order for you to have that child grow up and run and be able to fend for itself so that you're not having to utilize all of your energy and time to take care of it every single day through adulthood, that is what we're talking about. So
Well,
focus
here's the thing,
100%.
defend against. I've seen this too often. I know you have.
Yeah.
My child is special. My
Mm,
child is
they're all
special.
special.
Yeah, right. They're also
Special
therefore
snowflake.
I don't want to call it the warts. I don't want to call it anything that's not working. No, just brush over any of the inconsistencies in the
Yeah.
data. It's special. Just work
Yeah.
harder. Just work harder.
Yeah.
No, it's not about working harder. It's about working
Mm,
smarter and differently and holding
mhm.
nothing sacred, which is
Yeah.
tough. It's
Yeah.
tough.
Yeah.
It's your baby.
The
Yeah.
working smarter is hard, right? And I gosh, if we were to have an adversary for that, like an enemy for working smarter, it would be working harder. Where did we learn that, right? Like where did we learn that working harder equals wealth, positive results, success, achievement, growth? Not in this era. Like not in the AI technology, not in the automation technology. This is an old cultural existence that still is a part of our culture and it doesn't exist anymore. Like that worked way back when, right? And it doesn't work today. What works today is working smarter, like you said.
Well, it's interesting. Oh, hold on. My cord is here. Thank you.
Oh, yay.
Yay, my computer was going to die, and now it will not. Um, it's a product of the Industrial Revolution, when the central metaphor of the universe and the cosmos was the machine, and we are all parts and cogs in the machine, and our value comes from our ability to really show up as that part in the machine. And our job as a leader was to make sure if
Mhm.
there's a part broken in the machine, what do? You
Yeah.
extricate the part, put a new part in. So the leader's job is to beat it with a stick or replace it, a carrot stick kind of thing, and it really dehumanized the organization. But it gave us these values that somehow hard work
Mm.
is what makes us valuable. And I've known too many people who their ego identity is tied into them doing hard work. Now, I will challenge a little bit. Hard work is satisfying and it is
Oh, it
good,
is.
right?
It
But
feels
maybe
good.
you're working hard and smart.
Yeah.
What a novel idea.
100%. I love
Now,
it.
and I can appreciate the 4-hour work week. Okay. And it's about, are we working to make money or can we
Mm.
just have enough revenue passively coming in because we work smarter that we can work hard on the things that we love?
Okay. I have a question.
Yes.
What's your definition of hard?
What's my definition of hard? That's a great one. That's a great one. So, I mean, I love it. You challenged me just with the question. Um, because first of all, I was going to well, it's working long hours, but I'm like, not if I love it, then it's not hard work. Then it's
Mm,
fun work. But it's still,
mm,
I mean, like lately, the work I've been doing on my business, I guess I'll look back and say I was really working hard. I'm focused. It doesn't feel hard. It feels
mhm.
fun and it's like a problem to solve. It's the finding the right key for the lock to open the door, right? How do
So
you get more leads and then convert more leads and measure all of that and make sure you're helping as many people as possible? What is hard work? That's the $1,000,000 question. How do you define it?
I've recently changed my definition, which is where the question comes from. I believe that now I'm in the process of believing this is that hard work is something that I've never done before and that I need to create a habit or comfort with what I'm doing and then eventually it won't be hard anymore. So I kind of like just adjusted my definition from something that was emotionally tied to something that has a result. You got it, you know? Um,
So
so
yeah, say more. So something that's emotionally tied.
yeah, it's no longer emotionally tied. Like hard work is not emotionally tied. If I say that this is hard, I automatically go to I don't want to do it. It's not that it's hard. It's just that I don't want to do it. Is it something that's hard because I have to figure it out? Like I don't know the rhythm, the system, the sequence. I've never done this before, so it is hard because I have to break through subconsciously, consciously, what my beliefs are of the end result, right? Like we see this in Latin coaching, right? And so, recently last year, my coach said to do something in a specific sequential order. And I fought her tooth and nail because I'm like, I have 20 years of marketing experience. We've never done that before, right? It's just so hard for me to believe that because I have to break and a belief that I have in order to accept the one that I've been given. So it's just that's where I'm seeing that for me, that's how I'm defining hard now.
I love it. So it's not about it being challenging or being
No.
difficult. Hard work is when there is an attachment to
Yeah.
doing it a particular way, and doing it different evokes a negative emotion.
Yeah.
Or it's when the thing we're perceiving invalidates some sort of belief we have, or even if we're not aware of it, when it invalidates
Mhm.
or challenges us to be outside of our comfort zone, that that squeamishness hits, and you can feel your own skin crawl a little bit, but you're doing the thing that you said you wanted to do and it's uncomfortable. That's hard.
Yeah.
So it's almost like the hard for me, the hardness, and hard work is really around cutting through our suffering. If suffering
Mm.
comes from our attachment,
Yes.
so it's like the hard work is letting go of that, because the world is not a logical, limited place. It is illogical and infinite. And the more, I mean, for me, the hard work, letting go and then stepping in
Yeah.
and letting go of your fear, letting go of
Mhm.
all the stuff that creeps up, the stress, the guilt, the shame. That's the hard work. If you do that and you can walk cleanly into each moment with beginner's mind, the world is an abundant place.
Wow. Beginner's mind. So, okay, like I'm loving this. I believe that this is value for our audience because, right? Who doesn't struggle with this is hard, right? It's just in all areas of life, right? It's just like a new regimen, right? Where a lot of
Mhm.
people are here, at least in the U.S., like parts of the U.S. are
Yeah.
enjoying spring break right now, and so it's hard to go back to a job. It's hard to go back
Mhm.
to school. It's
Mhm.
hard to get
Mhm.
back into
And it's
a
all
rhythm.
emotionally laden, right? It's
Yeah,
not difficult. It's just the emotion is what makes it hard. Ah.
yeah,
Yeah, I love that you uncovered that little nugget. What makes something hard? And it's the emotion, the comfort.
yeah.
It's like it's hard when it requires us to move out of a comfort zone that we're currently in.
Right, but that's
That's
where
when
the
it's hard.
breakthrough is.
Yeah, and it's hard. Again, if I think I know the way to do something and not doing it that way is hard, because
Mm-hmm.
then it means if I'm not right, then what am I? I'm wrong. I start to doubt
Ooh.
myself, start to question myself. That's hard.
Oh. So, do we need to talk about ego?
Ego is
Was that too big of a
Well,
conversation?
I mean, ego is such a positive, such a negative. For me, the way I understand ego, and I try to really make it something that's actually applicable to how I live my life. Because Freud said the id, the ego, the super ego, and he had all kinds of, Then he had Carl Jung and all these different archetypes. I just think ego is like our self identity, our self concept
Yeah.
that we become attached to,
Yeah.
and we develop it based on we come into the world without it. We develop it over the course of our lives through our immediate experiences in the world. It forms the neural programming that then drives us forward in our life. Ego, I love it. And ego is the thing I see that is the downfall of so many. And it's
Mm.
not just positive, like big inflated self-concept. Ego
Yeah.
can also be I'm not good enough.
Right.
I'm a failure. That's ego.
Right.
It's attachment to a belief of self.
Yeah. Oh,
Something, I mean, I know I've struggled with. You've
yeah, we've all
struggled
done
with. As
it.
humans, we struggle with all of it. The beautiful thing I experience too is when people have a very inflated self, like their ego says, to be valuable, I must win. I must be right. So now it's
Mm,
like that's how they got daddy's attention when they were 4 years old. They would win, they would write, they would be the best, be the smartest. And now here they are 5 decades later, still playing out those patterns, because if they don't win and they're not right and they're not the smartest, then they're worthless. And so that
wow.
becomes the mask they project, and they have to get validation for that ego to be okay. And if anybody challenges that, or anything in their perceptual framework challenges that,
Yeah.
then they double down. The caveman comes out and they behave
Yeah.
very differently.
So how do we make it so that that's a part of ourself, the identity, the ego is comfortable with change
Mm.
when we're asking for change, right? It's like, oh man, I want to be a billionaire. It's like, cool. I want the money to come to me. Why is this so hard? Well, because your identity doesn't match the
Mm.
outcome that you're expecting. And so it has to, like, so what do you believe is the shift that needs to take place for that?
Yeah, it's like a deep neuro rewire, right? I mean, that's really what it comes to. I mean, we don't even
Yeah.
understand how ingrained the cognitive framework is, our ego. We don't
Yeah.
even see it because it's the lens we look at the world through. It's the way we find meaning in everything around us. How do you strip that down? That's
Wow.
tough. It
Yeah.
takes training. You don't go to the
Yes.
gym one day and expect to be in shape. You don't change your thinking one day and expect you're going to show up. But I'll tell you what,
Right.
when you start thinking like a millionaire or a billionaire, that may be excessive. There's a belief of mine, but I'm like,
Oh,
if
yeah.
I
I'm
wanted to
like
use that,
billionaire.
yeah, right. If I want to use that to help
Millionaire is
people, but
easy.
yeah, it's right. It's almost like, I don't know, when's enough, right? I mean, what is this whole
Ooh.
quest? What is this whole quest to have more? No, it's to fill the hole that created by the ego. You know what? We came
Mm,
from nature. Can you get connected and find contentment in your daily living without trying to fill this hole in our ego? That being said, that's all my belief system. But
that's all your belief system. Wow. Like, but that's so good. It's such a great example because that was my belief system for a really long time. Like like why do I need $1 billion? And recently, just like through prayer and just
Mhm.
meditation, I understand now that actually the majority of that has nothing to do with my lifestyle. It actually has to do with the bigger purpose that I have.
Well, there you
So
go. So it's
it's
believing in the
really
purpose.
into,
It's the
yeah,
purpose.
yeah.
I love it. Full circle back to one of the employees, clients, business owners I'm working with currently, who owned all these businesses. And the place we had to start was, so what? Why are you doing all this? And he said, well, he's a Hispanic fella from Mexico. He said, I have this charity in Mexico where I'm helping children where there's a lot of crime.
Mm.
And he's trying to help children and he wants to give a certain amount. He said, I want to give. And well, I asked him, how much do you want to give? He said, well, I want to give $250,000 a year. I said, okay, brilliant. How much of your profit will that be? He's like, well, I would like to make my goal that I give that 10% of my money goes to this charity and I'm giving $250,000.
Cool.
Brilliant. Let's get you $250,000 to that charity. That was in his heart.
Yeah.
And in doing so, he's taking care of his family, taking care of his travel, his everything. He's living the lifestyle he wants to live.
Yeah.
And this is the hard thing. People get caught up with the number, and I have, right? I've gotten caught up like wanting the next million or whatever the thing is. And then you end up just so caught up. It's like businesses that focus on the next quarter's bottom line and lose sight of the fact that it's a human organization. And they end up gutting the
Mm.
organization, creating a place nobody wants to be because they miss the human element. And they think there's some rainbow on the horizon. And it's not about
Yeah.
what happens tomorrow. It's about how you live today.
Yeah.
And if you always are wanting and always wanting and live in that place of discontent, man, it's kind of a place of poverty in a state of mind. Like it's never enough. I'm never enough. If only I had $1 million. If only I had $1 billion.
Yeah.
I've seen too many people who just lose the balance in their lives, and they miss the fact that life isn't tomorrow. Life isn't about retirement. Life is what you're doing right now. There's no tomorrow. There's
Yeah.
now. What decisions are you going to make now so that your nows continue to provide the lifestyle that you want?
Live now. Yeah, 100%.
So it's an
100%.
interesting balance. Like you have to think about the future, but also getting caught up in that pulls you out of the only thing you have, which is now.
Mm. Like living in the now is it could be challenging, especially when you're goal oriented. You're focused
Mhm.
on achieving the goals. Man, okay. So let's what else? Trying to think what else that somebody that's watching this and thinking about what we're saying. And I mean, we're going deep. We're basically kind of moving the furniture in their minds to
In
start
our minds,
planting
right?
these seeds, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
just
yeah.
like planting these seeds. So where are we going to go next? Because we
Well, it's
talked about,
interesting that with the balance of it, if I may. So I have another client that refuses, though, to do so. We're not saying don't plan,
right. No, we need planning.
but it's interesting. I have another client who is so refuses to plan and only his vision will only go this far. So he's stuck in the moment, but not taking the time to just be present here
Mhm.
because only from the present can you be self-aware, right? And so there's a resistance to be present because the awareness is not content with the state of his heart and his mind and his physical self and his spirit. There's a discontentment there. So he stays busy all the time, but that's
Mm,
not now he's in this Bardo state in between. There's no presence, there's no clarity of vision. It's just like a treadmill.
yeah.
Okay, well, that's a hard place to be. It's when
It's
there's no
it
hope, there's no vision.
there when there's no hope, there is no vision. It's like I work on, I really honestly work, Dr. Kevin, on how to help other people take action, even though they might not know what their purpose or goals are.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
that's a challenging place, right? Because we really don't know what the outcome is going to be, but we do know that staying in motion, the law of acceleration, like just a lot of inertia. Like we have to stay in motion, otherwise it's just going to make it harder once we figure it out.
If you're not growing, you're dying. Or as Ricky
Yeah.
Bobby said, if you're second, you're first loser, something like that. But that's it. I mean, we don't the vision in our mind is a fantasy.
Mhm.
However, the more you can project that vision into your mind, the more you practice doing that mental kind of um, strength conditioning, eventually the outer world begins to match the inner world. So,
Mm.
but if you're not taking action, I mean, the thing is, I think get momentum and then you can start to dial in, okay, where's this going? But if you don't take any action and you don't have any vision, you're just stuck. That's a hard place to be.
It's a hard place to get out of too.
Yeah, right. My God,
Yeah.
tell me about it. I lost my vision when it comes to working out, right? I was working out quite a bit last year. And then I had a knee problem and it slowed me down from working out. And I keep saying, I got to work out. I got to work out. I got to work out.
Mm.
But my brain never gets my body into that routine, that discipline.
Okay.
Yeah.
What
And it's the
comes what,
comfort zone.
what comes first? Is it thought? Is it belief or is it action?
Well, I think in my mind that there is no action without a thought,
Mhm.
right? It all comes back to my thinking. So there's some obstacle in my head. And I go back to maybe it's not even mental, it's emotional. It's the comfort zone. It feels comfortable. Working out is uncomfortable. And
Yeah.
I have a million excuses why I'm too busy. I got too much writing to do, hang out with my kids, watching too many Netflix shows. I don't have time to work out. I
Ah.
pet my dog.
So we're talking about priorities then,
Well, priorities. Yeah.
maybe?
And taking ownership for our life and ourselves.
Oh, yeah. I love that.
It's like, yeah, priorities are great. Yeah, it's a priority of mine,
It's ownership.
but
Mhm.
but nothing's happening.
Yeah.
So the best I do, I'm like, oh, intermittent fast. So at least I'm not, I'm at least trying to shed a pound So I'm going to Greece in a week or so, and I want to be, at least like able to walk around the streets with my family a little bit and feel like I got a swing in my step. I keep saying, man, I just need to go to the gym, but it doesn't happen. I've obsessed with writing, and that's the great thing. I'm writing every day, write, sending emails out, sending, posting on LinkedIn, posting on Facebook. I'm having so much fun with it, writing stories, writing my story, and applying those to business situations. But then I get now caught up in this mental world. I forget about the physical world. I need to make sure I'm tuning the instrument.
Yeah. Do you believe in do you believe in balance? I know this is going to be a controversial question, but do you believe in balance?
I'm not sure what that means as I think about it, right? Do I believe in balance? Okay, what am I balancing my thinking with my doing?
Yeah.
Is it like fierce ownership? Do I believe in balance? Okay, say more. What does balance mean to you?
Well, okay, so are there two sides of everything? Yes. So I do believe in a form of balance, but when it comes to physical form, like your example where you're doing great with your mind, right? You're writing, you're sending emails, you're posting, you're doing all of those things, and your mind is getting exercise, but your physical activity has not reached that level yet. Is there always going to be a balance between the two of those?
It's so funny. I think when you say the word balance, my thought is I don't know about beliefs. My only belief is I believe in non-belief. I believe that belief is the pathway that I start to form attachment. And as soon as I form attachment, because I have a belief, then I end up being right. And my practice is to put down beliefs and just be present and to know what I know and let go of all of it. Right? I see too many people who are so caught up in their beliefs that they're just like miserable, or they're stuck, or they believe they know, and then they don't see what's right in front of them because their beliefs are in the way. It's like, what if you can just put it all down and enter into the world with deep curiosity, deep presence? And I love it. Do I believe in balance? I can tell you, if actions are an indication of my belief, then absolutely not. I believe in fierce, over-the-top commitment to a particular path at a particular time for a while, and then shifting gears, right? So I'm all into writing. I'll write another book, and I'll be, seeing all my clients and fired up. I'll be in a wheelchair because I can't stand up because I haven't exercised in 3 years. But I believe in the idea of balance. How about that?
Yeah. 100%.
But I think belief is really, I've seen too many people who say, oh, this is what I believe in, but then you watch their behavior and their behavior doesn't align with their beliefs. No, you don't believe that. What you believe, if your behavior is driven by beliefs, then beliefs are an indication of behaviors are an indication of the beliefs. Not what I say, but what I do.
So the mind comes first and then the action. Yes. But in order to validate the action, the thoughts have to be there. Like you actually have to know what you believe and like a friend of mine and I were talking about just some words that have double meanings, like righteous, right? Like in Christianity, righteous is actually a good thing, right? So the double meanings, like the society says righteous is a terrible thing, it's prideful, it's like, but it's not, it's in Christianity. So but what I'm hearing you say about, and this kind of circles back to what we were talking about earlier, is the thought, the idea has to exist first before we take action on it. But that idea is manifested or, come to fruition, however you want to say that, into action. And that is the process. If we do something and it doesn't align with what we believe, then that belief is actually not fully formed yet.
One saying that
I know we're going like really philosophical.
I love it. Well, but let's bring it back to practical. So it's not about beliefs or behaviors. It's about results. If you're not getting the results you want in your life, then your behavior is not what it needs to be. And your behavior is driven by beliefs. Beliefs drive behaviors to get results. No other way about it. So if your life isn't where you want it, then your behaviors aren't aligned with what your vision is. And therefore your beliefs, there's something in your belief system that's getting it's out of alignment.
Let's give an example. Let's go a couple examples for our audience of what that looks like.
I can easily go back to working out. I mean, I have business examples. I work with businesses all day, but I like the personal example, working out. What's the result I want? I'm not getting the 6-pack abs. My body's not getting any younger. I'm not getting more toned. There's the result I'm not getting. I'm not increasing my cardiovascular health. I'm not developing that body that I could walk around with a swagger, be comfortable in the summer, jumping in the lake without a shirt, whatever the thing is. That's not there. There's the result. Why is it? Because the behavior's not there. What's the behavior? I'm not exercising consistently. I'm not working out the way I want to. Oh, what's the belief that's undermining it? What's getting in the way? And I can say the belief is, oh, I should. No, the reality is there's some belief. I think of it as a virus in my software that's undermining my ability to do the thing that I want to do. So it's driven. This is where the sneakiness of our emotion, because we're hedonistic, we move towards what feels good and what doesn't. Getting back into that routine is uncomfortable. And it's much more easy to just push the button on Netflix and watch the next Loudermilk episode or what have you, than actually get up, take the time, go work out, be uncomfortable, not be entertained, but actually do the hard work, coming full circle. Doing the hard work means I'm stepping out of my comfort zone and I'm doing something that isn't just dictated by how I feel.
Yes.
This is what most of us do. We don't even know we're doing it. We do the thing that is the least uncomfortable, and then we justify it. That's what I do. That's what humans do. How do we wake up to that? That's the thing. How to wake up to recognize where our own pitfalls are. It's so easy to see everybody else. I can tell you, I have a list. Everybody else, all their screw ups. Yeah, look at yourself. Like, oh,
yeah. It's since the beginning of time, it's easier to look at someone else other than ourselves. But okay, so where do we go next? Like, what is an action item, an action that we can give our listeners, our audience, so that they could take what we just did, which is like open up their brain, clean it up a little bit, put it back in, and say, here you go. But like, really, how can we help them maintain this awareness that we've helped them like achieve and get better? Do we help them with like maybe like a pros con list? Like, okay, so what is the identity that we truly desire to have, and where are we now? And then what are the steps to get there? Is that a good, what do you think?
Beautiful. Like, so cognitively envisioning the person we want to become. Yeah. So training our mind to become that person. Right. And as we change the neural fabric of our brain, by changing our conscious thought, our brain follows suit, and over time our evolution happens.
Yeah.
The hard thing is, though, in order to do that, you have to pay attention to what you put in. If you try to change and have a vision of yourself, but you hang out with the same people and have the same discussions and put the same stuff, same podcasts in your head that continually strengthen the belief that's already there about how you're right and everybody else is wrong and you're the victim, or whatever the thing is, then you get in your own way. So it's really about like the Marines, right? How do you break it all down? And for me, it's going back to the learning how to be present. That's the mental muscle, being present and be aware. Now, really quick, I want to throw out this model that the Buddhists have. They call it the 5 skandhas. And these 5 skandhas, and forget about Pali or Sanskrit, Skandha, skandha. They call it the 5 aggregates. And basically all it is what's that?
I'm like, okay, I don't even want to know how to spell that one. Okay.
Yeah, aggregate. I mean, I can spell it creatively. Basically, so they were the ultimate psychologists, Buddhists. Before it was a religion, it's a process. It's a psychology of understanding how your mind works. Some dude sat down and said, I'm going to figure it out. And he discovered that, we have this thing. we have consciousness. And then within consciousness, we have cognition. We will perceive an object in our senses. And then
Mm-hmm.
we will recognize it. That is, we'll recognize it. We'll compare it against our internal mental Rolodex. So if I see you and last time I saw you, you did something negative to me that stuck with me, that's going to be
Ooh,
evoked right away. Right. So
yeah.
there's the five aggregates are first, there's consciousness. That's the whole field. Then there's cognition. Something will enter into that field of perception. We will compare it against everything else, recognition. Then this is the key point. Then the sensation happens, that
Mm-hmm.
feeling in our body, and then we react out of the feeling in our body, not to the actual thing that we're perceiving.
Mm.
So when you break down how our consciousness works, we aren't really reacting to the outside world. We're reacting to our concepts and the sensations, the feeling that we're
Oh my gosh.
getting from the
So,
outside
so
world.
right.
Yes,
Absolutely.
yes,
100%. Yeah, there's so many
right.
perspectives. It's like what they say, in an argument, there's three sides. And there's, my side, your side, and then the truth.
Yeah, yeah,
Right? Because there's just so many perspectives. You might
that's
think
right.
that,
That's right.
someone's angry at me because of what they said, or they use all caps in the text message,
Hmm.
or how dare they give me a thumbs up? It's just like, and that's all how we are programmed. And how do we unprogram
Hmm.
ourselves so that
Hmm.
we're
Hmm.
not, we're not focusing so much energy on things that are not going to serve us getting to where we want to go. We're focused on the right thing. So, what
Yes,
type of relationship do we want to have with that person?
yes.
How are we
The vision.
approaching, even if that person is approaching us in that way? How do we want to be perceived? How do we want to be the leader in this conversation?
Mhm.
Right?
So
Like,
it's so
changes
key. What you're talking about is like having that vision, having clarity of it. Now, the thing for me that was my aha was that I can have clarity of the vision, and that's very cognitive. And I've learned to be a very cognitive person above the neck, but I never even knew that there's this whole other world going on in me until I
everything.
developed that insight, right? The ability to be present and aware. And then I started to wake up to all this other stuff going on in me that's driving so much of my thinking. There's the sensation. When things feel uncomfortable, I react a certain way. And I do the thing that keeps me in my comfort zone. So for me, when you talk about the key takeaway, yes, important to have a clear vision of who you want to be and where you're going, but equally as important is to have awareness of what the
Mhm.
actual physiological sensations are in your body, the feeling that is driving your behavior, but you're not aware of it. So for
Yeah.
me, I never knew it was there. It's
So
like
good.
waking up. For me, it's about learning how to wake up to this whole other sense of developing awareness physiologically, where our subconscious mind is always in our body, waking up to that and noticing that, when I get tight right here and hot, I'm angry, and then I behave differently in a way that shuts people down, but I don't see me. I see them shutting down, and I think they're the problem.
Hmm. So good. Oh,
Presence.
okay.
Presence. So if nothing else, A, vision, B, awareness, and C, presence. To be able to just be
Mhm.
here right now, give yourself a break, be
Yeah.
kind, make a decision to show up with kindness, make a decision to be grateful, to have gratitude. And if you do, the more you have gratitude, the more you become a magnet for abundance.
Yes, it is an energy. It is so cool how it works. Oh my gosh, so cool. There's okay, I'll give you an example of what that looks like. I take my dogs for a walk every day or several times a day, but one
Mhm.
specifically in the afternoon. And I do these gratitude walks where everything that meets the eye or the ears touches me, I'm just grateful for. I'm grateful for the leash. I'm grateful for my dogs. I'm grateful for their four legs. I'm grateful for whatever it might be. I'm grateful for the biker who's behind me and I can hear them without even looking at them. Like just the smallest things. Why so simple, Melinda? Because it it elevates my energy to a level where I can attract more things that are attractive. And so I came back one day, back to my office at home, and I'm looking at my phone. I don't take my tech with me on my walks, and I'm scrolling through, and I'm like, whoa, opportunity after opportunity of things that I was so grateful for. And I thought, oh my gosh, this is crazy how this is working. But then I kept
Mhm.
practicing it. The days I don't practice it, those are the days that I don't see a lot of activity. The days that I do practice it, the more opportunities appear and reveal themselves. And it's not, I don't, I mean, yes, it is perspective awareness, right? But it's something else in the way that I approach those experiences that I think open it up. Like I'm so grateful for you, Dr. Kevin. Like how we met, how we connected, how we just showed up today, and
Hmm.
how we just showed up and said, you know what, let's just do casual Fridays. So grateful for that. So grateful for our growing friendship. So grateful for someone else who can geek out about this stuff and share it with other people,
Yes,
right?
yes, yes,
And
yes.
so I already know that there's more coming. And so, like, that's the anticipation. It's not the
Hmm.
expectation. It's like, joyfully waiting the night before Christmas to wake up with to all of these amazing presents and excited to open them up. Like, so yeah, gratitude is a huge thing for me.
Well,
100%.
it's funny too. In my mind, it kind of comes back to what we talked about earlier. With your thoughts, you make the world. Guess what? The world is not a logical, linear place. It's
Mhm.
beyond our conception of it is, and we will limit our experience through our conception and project into our future based on our experience in the past and often create more of the same or limit it. But when you can, I love your practice because I forget to do that. The practice of just acknowledging and being grateful. It's a strengthening that mental muscle of
Yes.
gratitude, but then it's strengthening that ability to attract abundance. It's
Yeah.
fantastic. It's
So cool.
such a great
And
thing.
it's
And
simple.
but here's the thing, when you're not in that space and you forget to do it, or things
Yeah.
don't go your way, or you're
Mm.
frustrated because it's 4 days in a row and you haven't had any new client contact or your old client, you lost a client, whatever it is, and you get down on yourself, guess what? That's what you begin to see all over. When I've been
Yeah.
through periods of anxiety or depression in my past, it feels like I'm in this hole. I've always been there. I'm always going to be
Mm.
there. It's
Mm.
just
So
phenomenal to see so many
yeah.
business owners and entrepreneurs. That's what I experience. I mean, there's so much they bring on, and then they begin to take it on and they
Yeah.
wear it, and it wears them and it wears them out.
Yeah. It wears them
I mean,
out.
put it
Yeah.
down and be the best version of yourself now.
Yeah. Oh, this is so good. You guys are like getting this at a great deal of just showing up. I mean, this is so cool. Just like I'm having
Mhm.
so much fun having this conversation.
Fantastic.
And I think like this, like the takeaway is really solid. It's just as we enter into the weekend, as everyone enters into the weekend, and we're thinking about how are we going to enjoy this? Like, what are the errands that we have to run? How do we get
Mhm.
back? Do the laundry. We got to take all the sand out of the car, or unpack our suitcases, whatever that might be. Getting back into a swing of
Repack.
things. A
Put
repack. Yeah,
it back and
exactly. Well,
repack.
I got to do that in a couple of days too.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
but just thinking about all of the activities, this is an activity that you can do while you're doing that. And gratitude will lead to focus and awareness, will lead to perspective, will lead to, that just strengthening your self identity, and then knowing, well, these are the steps that I need to take in order to get to where I want to go in this area of my life, whether that be health, wealth, or relationships. And you can do them in any way, any pattern you choose to do it, as long as you get to where you want to go.
Well, and I love it. Starting with clarity, where do you want to go? And recognize that through your mind and through your thinking, all things are possible.
Yeah,
With your thoughts, you create the world.
100%.
Create an abundant weekend. Create a fantastic weekend, everybody. It's so wonderful to have this conversation with you today, Melinda. This is fantastic. Here's to your abundance, continued abundance this weekend. And may you have not only abundance, right? Abundance is much more than financial, of course.
Oh,
It's about
yes.
a fullness of life and living. And when
Mhm.
we talk about balance, I see people come out of balance because they believe abundance and their value comes from a number in an account. And they do
Yes.
everything to pursue that and lose sight of the fact that abundance is tied into wisdom and it's tied into presence and it's tied into how you live and generosity and helpfulness and all of these things that can feed your soul. So may your soul be fed this weekend on the path to abundance.
Amen. That is amazing. Oh, thank you so much, Dr. Kevin. That was
Beautiful.
awesome.
Such a pleasure.
Oh, this is good. We went way over what we were planning on, but I hope that it was serving you guys in a really big way. I think I'm going to share this also in my email list to make sure people get this. And yeah, we just want to serve y'all. So comment below once you see this video if you have any questions. If you let us know what were your takeaways and how you practiced what we shared with you today, because we want to continue to serve you on this Casual Friday and Fridays
Casual
beyond.
Friday, yes. Be your best self.
All right. Take care, guys. Bye.